look at the camera. All right. All right.
Cute. Awesome. Yeah, just stare at the camera. It's just like, oh.
Awesome. That's great. Thanks a lot.
Awesome. You look great. Good evening, Rams, and welcome to Humans of CSU. If you've ever taken a music or theater course at CSU, you've likely been in the University Center for the Arts. And if you're a music or theater major, you probably live there. Tonight, we'll be talking with several people from the center. So for tonight and tonight only, welcome to Humans of the UCA. Our first guest tonight is Dr. Michelle Stanley, the Director of the Leadership, Entrepreneurship, Arts Advocacy, and the Public or L.E.A.P Institute for the Arts. Dr. Stanley, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
So how are you tonight?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thank you for being here. I'd love to learn a little bit more about what L.E.A.P is.
Yeah.
Can you explain that to us?
Yeah, so L.E.A.P is an arts management and administration program. So L.E.A.P was a nice way of packaging it into leadership and entrepreneurship and advocacy for the public, but really what we do is an arts management program. So we're training future leaders in arts businesses who are managers and they're doing fundraising, they're doing grant writing, they're running for-profit and nonprofit businesses.
Okay, so is there any notable alumni in the area that we might be able to reference?
It's a relatively new program, so we probably don't have anybody that is known like, you know, fancy shiny yet.
Right.
But we've only really been around since 2013.
Okay.
And our master's degree is relatively new. I think one of my favorite alumni that we have is Alina Osika, and she's actually a former flute student of mine at the university, and she is now one of the development directors for the Utah Symphony and Opera. And so she's working in Salt Lake City. So she's doing really great things. We're really proud of her.
Cool.
Yeah.
So typically, like, what you're learning is how to run like a theater company or a music company.
Exactly.
Or something like that.
Yep.
Okay.
And all the different parts. So it's like a business degree, but it's really for creatives. It's for people in the creative economy, whether it's people running a small business or a large business, and all the components that are a part of running an arts business.
Very cool. Cool. So you were telling me earlier that you were one of the people who helped create this.
Yeah, so early on we were really passionate in the music and theater dance department. I'm a member of the music faculty as well. And back in, I don't know, probably like 2010, 2011, we started to dream about creating classes for students so that they could get jobs when they graduated. So the idea was creating courses for our undergraduate performing arts and visual arts students. And we wanted them to have all these hands-on things that they could do. They could learn to network and write a resume, and how do they create concerts out in the community? How do they build a website? All these really practical things.
Very important for students to learn.
Very important, yeah. So we started off as really building a program that was feeding the needs of our undergraduate population. And these were just elective classes.
Yeah.
And then it started to morph into something a little bit bigger, and we started a master's degree a little bit later on. And I was on the steering committee to start, but then I kind of went back into the music side of things, and now I'm doing both. So, yeah.
So you said that there's a master's degree, right?
Yeah, there's a master's degree in arts management, cultural leadership.
Okay.
And there's two programs. We have an all online program. And we have folks from all over the world who are taking our classes and enrolled in our degree. I just looked at some applications from China today, and we have people in Guam and of course across the United States.
Right.
And then we have a residential program as well.
Cool.
Which we're building, and we love to have more students involved in our residential program, because then they can network and be together here in Fort Collins, which is such, as you know, a hub of arts and culture, and you know, it runs the gamut.
Yeah, it's incredible. How many theater companies do we have? I know of
my goodness.
and I know there's maybe two others.
There's so many. I've lost track.
Yeah. It's incredible how much arts we have here.
It's great.
Yeah. So what kind of classes do you take in this major?
So there's a core set of classes that we offer. We have arts and law class, an arts policy and advocacy class, arts leadership, which is kind of our basic LEAP 500 class, which is the ground level stuff.
Right.
An event management class, which is really popular. We have students who are out learning how to run events. And then we have an arts collaboration class as well. They also take 2 internships at the graduate level. The undergraduate level, we have an internship, and their classes are like technology in the arts in the 21st century. They take a class on creating your arts career, learning those basic skills like resume building and branding and marketing. And then at the master's degree, they get to select a ton of different electives. So we partner with lots of different departments, from political science to business to entrepreneurship, in classes that students are really interested in, so that they can really make their own degree what they want it. So if there's someone who really is interested in building a career in grant writing and fundraising, they can take other classes to feed the basic core curriculum. So we're hoping to do more and more of that, whether a student is interested in museum studies or music production and editing and those sort of things. So we're hoping to build into that area in the next few years.
Wow, how interesting. Cool. So on your website, it says that you recognize the success of arts is being redefined in the 21st century. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, the field of arts management and leadership is very new. It's really only been around maybe 30 years. So, because the world is changing so rapidly in the last 20 years, we really have to adapt. And I think what's fascinating is that as artists, whether we're musicians or visual artists or actors, dancers, we're constantly shifting our own ideas of marketing and management and promotion to fit the digital world that we're in. So whether it's social media or whether it's how to actually use print media, we're constantly adapting to work with that. So our students are learning how to be great managers in an ever-changing technological world. So we're really trying to stay ahead of the curve and teach classes that are not just reacting to things that are happening, but are looking forward. So all of our faculty are practicing arts administrators. We have on our faculty the head of the Lincoln Center. It's in here in Fort Collins, and he teaches a LEAP leadership class and also an events management class. We have a faculty member who has worked for the city of Fort Collins and all the arts areas, the cultural side of Fort Collins. So she brings, all of our faculty bring in real world, live kind of up-to-date information for our students. So that's kind of what we mean from our website.
Okay, cool. Very nice. And then you were telling me earlier that you're hosting an event with the Music District soon?
So we're really excited to be, I don't know if anybody out there has noticed what's behind Chipotle, but off of Laurel Street, it's on College, and there's a really phenomenal, I don't even know what to call them. They're kind of their own entity called the Music District. And the folks there do incredible amounts of work to work with contemporary artists, musicians. And they are bringing in a really incredible artist named Aisha Fukushima. And she calls herself a raptivist. So she brings in rap and hip hop. And she ties it into political activism. So she's going to be doing her own week-long residency at the Music District, working with those folks, shoring up her new project and really brainstorming through all of that with the Flobots, which is a really well-known band in Denver. So the Flobots and Aisha are going to be at CSU and the University Center for the Arts on March 14th at 5:15 in room 136.
Cool.
So anybody is welcome, and we'd love to have a wide variety of folks. And she's really here just to share her ideas and to get more and get people talking about any aspect of creating art in the in this climate that we're in right now.
Very cool. That sounds like so much fun.
It. Yeah, it sounds like a great event. We're really excited about it.
Yeah, I would love to see the Flobots.
Yeah, I know, me too.
And Fukushima sounds really awesome.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. If you want to learn more about the LEAP Institute, you can visit leap.colostate.edu. Up next, I'll be talking to 2 lighting designers from the UCA to illuminate what goes on behind the scenes in the plays there.
Okay, so we drowned the fire, stirred it, drowned it again, and now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. I already posted it.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
Welcome back from the break, Rams. Designing the lighting for a live performance can be a very difficult task. Just ask our studio director, Evan. Well, Rams, I'm now joined by two students who have designed the lighting for multiple shows at the UCA. Please join me in welcoming Shaye Evans and Lachlan Fordyce to the show. How are you guys?
Good. Doing good. Thank you for inviting us.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. So tell me a little bit about what you're doing right now at the UCA.
Right now, well, we're in the middle of our musical currently. We're in the middle of working on it, and we're actually really excited to show it and start working or getting closer to opening. And so we just showed our ideas to the cast and the crew, and we just did our first read-through, which is very exciting.
A Man of No Importance, right? Yeah. Are you working on that one as well, Lachlan?
Yeah, I'm the associate lighting designer with Shaye.
As well as running all the running the spotlights.
Yes.
Nice. So how many plays have you two worked on together?
There's a lot. We've
Yeah.
definitely designed at least two together. This will be the second one. We just did a dance show together last semester, the capstone dance,
Cool.
which was very fun. And then we did Three Sisters fall 2017.
Right, and Three Sisters you won multiple awards for, right? Yeah, you won a national and a regional award for Three Sisters? Cool, how was that?
It was really exciting. He was not there for that, unfortunately. It was just me, but he helped me with the show a lot, so it was very important that he was here. And we actually, as a group, went out with our show Love and Information out to Spokane last year, and we showed the show, and then we brought it back, and a lot of us competed with acting and designing. It wasn't just me. And we had a couple of people walk home with awards, actually. We had a sound designer go to nationals with me, which was really cool. And we both spent a week in Washington, D.C. and got to work with a bunch of really cool people and show our designs again. And it was a really good time.
That's awesome. So what made Three Sisters stand out so much?
It was my first real big main stage piece, so I really wanted to try to work really hard on it and learn as much as I can to try to make it as good as I could.
Yeah, I mean, it was incredible. I saw the play, and the set pieces and the way it was all set up and the backlight. I mean, it was beautiful. So how do you decide what it's going to look like and what the theme of it's going to be?
Well, we are all, as designers, part of the process way before we even have actors or anything else. So we're sitting down in meetings for months and talking about what it's going to look like and what we should do, and we're looking at research images of the time, and as a group we're all coming up with this final product we want to show everyone, which is what we worked on and what we made.
Nice. So with A Man of No Importance being end of April, early May, when did you start actually looking at it?
September?
September.
We had our first meeting in September.
Wow, that's incredible. So do you do just maybe one big project a year then? Or did you do one in the fall as well?
We worked on that dance in the fall, which is not as big of a project, but I think we had one designer this year that did two main stages. Yeah, I think so. So yeah, we've definitely had a bunch of people do a lot of different assignments. We've had stage managers do every single dance show and a bunch of really cool stuff. So.
Wow. So what's been your favorite projects to work on?
Actually, I'm really enjoying A Man of No Importance right now. I'm having a blast working on that.
Yeah, working on musicals is a different kind of energy, and it's much more collaborative, so it's much more fun.
So what's going to be cool about this one? What makes this one so much more interesting than your past ones? Because you've done so many.
It's going to be very flashy.
Oh, yeah?
Yep, so it's going to be loud, there's going to be music, there's going to be a lot of flashy, fun lights. I'm really excited to play around with the music, and we're going to make some really cool looks.
Yeah, that sounds like so much fun. So what brought you to this major and this career path?
In high school, I didn't like anything else other than building sets, actually. And then I got into lights junior year of high school, and I just really enjoyed doing it the entire time. So I've kept going all the way up through CSU and
So you did it for your high school theater program?
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. What about you?
I also did it in high school. I came to CSU as a history major and decided that wasn't really for me, and I had intro to theater my freshman year, and I just kind of fell back in love with lighting and got into the department that way.
Cool. Very cool. Well, I believe that you have worked on Noise is Off, You're in Town, Laramie Project, Love and Information. Love and Information, I remember, so I saw that one as well. And there was one person who was a continuous character throughout, and they had like this blue light that shone on them, right? Were you part of the designing of that?
A little bit. That was actually projection. On
Yeah.
her.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
and
so it wasn't necessarily lighting.
It wasn't really lighting. It was that was mostly projection based, and that was an idea that we had from the very beginning. So, but we are definitely a part of that. Make sure that the stage is well enough lit, but also not too lit, so that you can see that really cool projection that you talked about.
Cool. So what's one of the like craziest pieces that you've designed so far?
Dance is always pretty crazy.
Yeah.
There's sometimes some pretty crazy sequences, some pretty crazy dances. We do Rock Band, this thing called the Rock Band Project every year, and it's our Lighting 1 students and a couple of other lighting designers in the department, and we go up and we just play the video game Rock Band to some really awesome lights. And that's going to be the craziest, definitely, because you just go and design a really cool song with a bunch of other people and then go perform it in front of people. So that's really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, super fun. Cool. Well, thank you so much for being here, guys.
Absolutely.
I really
Thank you.
appreciate it. Well, another important part of making plays look good is the sets. Up next, we'll be talking with Duncan Port, a stage designer and theater student at the UCA. We'll be right back.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream, that I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly, just to come back in a new disguise and be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
What's up, Henry?
Hey, Julia, what's up?
What are you drinking your coffee out of this morning?
I don't even know.
Yeah, no, you should fix that.
It's uninspired.
You gotta get in this 905 club, let me tell you.
So if I donate $90.50, I can be part of this club?
It's got mugs, it's got shirts, and it's all dedicated to KCSU.
Well, I guess I'm going to donate to Club 905 because I support local college radio. What about you?
A good set in a play can take you to another world or time, but we often take these backgrounds for granted. I'm sitting here tonight with Duncan Port, a theater major who does anything but that. How are you tonight, Duncan?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Good. So tell me some of the sets that you've designed at the UCA.
I've designed a few shows. I haven't had my own independent design yet. I'm actually designing the set for the play next semester, actually. Midsummer's Night Dream by Shakespeare.
Wow. So you're already starting for fall.
Yeah, and I'm super excited for it.
Crazy.
Our first design meeting is actually in 2 weeks, and we're going to start talking about the designs in full detail, and I'm super excited.
Cool. What kind of, I mean, I don't know if you can tell me explicitly what kind of ideas you have, but do you have any thoughts, any like things that make you excited about it?
Yeah, my assistant Xander and I have been talking about doing some cool automation movements or set pieces that kind of move on their own. The ability to kind of have as if the characters are walking into the forest and the trees rise from the ground as they walk towards them. And so the ability to have a transition, like as you said, transforming into a magical world.
Right.
And I want to try and create that magic from the world, from the play, and bring it to life in any way that I can. And so I'm very excited.
Yeah, that sounds incredible. I'm so excited for you.
Another piece I'm doing is there's actually a dance piece I designed for, and it's going to competition in about 2 weeks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. Emily Morgan, she is the new head of the dance department, and she's the choreographer for this piece. And the piece is entitled Grit, and it's about women in the workplace. And I had to design these steel frame boxes that are also plexiglass. So they're clear, but they're still able to have a dancer stand on top of them and dance on them.
Oh, wow.
And it was an interesting challenge. I had to design it, since it's also competing in Salt Lake City, I had to design it to come apart and then go and travel well as well, which was really cool and interesting to see.
Yeah. So when you design them, are you actually doing the building and construction, or are you just doing the blueprints?
For the design, I actually happen to work in the scene shop, so I do get to build it, but that's not part of the set design requirements. I do design it. I bring the design to Stephen Workman. He's the technical director, and he looks at it and he tells me how he can make what I dream possible, and things that aren't possible, we talk about and debate about what we can do to make it become real. But it's an amazing process to work with Stephen, definitely.
Yeah. So is it mostly done by students, or do professors have a heavy hand in the production of set designs?
It's usually led by students. A lot of times a student will get it, and the teacher's always there to support in case like you need to figure it out. Roger Hanna is the set design teacher, and he's wonderful. He's very talented. He's helped me a lot with the dance piece, and he's going to help me some more with Midsummer's Night Dream. But otherwise, I think next year actually every show is done by a student. Every show, I think we're producing Cabaret and Midsummer's Night Dream, and they're all student-led productions.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. Sweet. So what's your favorite part about set designing?
My favorite part about set design would probably be, I think, the ability to bring life to the theater. Like, my goal for every show that I design is that when someone comes in and an audience member sits down, they don't feel like they're in a theater, they feel like they're in where they're supposed to be for the show, and that it can pull them, and that like totally forget that they're sitting in a theater, they're watching a show. And that's my goal for every show that I do.
Yeah, definitely. I know every time I've seen a play at the UCA, I mean, I'm just taken aback by how incredible the work is there. I mean, not only the actors, and I know that there's incredible directors there, but every aspect of it is just, I mean, it immerses you so much into the process. So what would be the play that you would want to design a set for more than anything else?
More than anything else? That's a pretty tough question. I think one of my favorite shows of all time has to be Wicked.
Oh.
I fell in love with it. It was one of the shows that got me into doing set design. The lead set designer on that show blew me away when I was a kid and I was younger, and so now that like I'm grown up, I would love to try and recreate it in my own image and try and think of new ways to bring it to life.
Sweet. Yeah, that sounds incredible. What piece has been the hardest or like the most intricate one to work on?
I think one of the pieces that I worked on was Urinetown. I worked with Shaye.
Yeah.
And that was really cool. The ability to build a fully moving scaffolding piece for the musical was really interesting and hard to think about because we haven't really done it before at the UCA. And it was interesting to play around with the idea and talk about like what makes it possible, where does it go. But it was still, after execution, watching it come to life, it was definitely worth it.
Oh yeah, that was an incredible set. I loved like the big rafters, and oh yeah, y'all made that look incredible. I'm so impressed with all the talent at the UCA. I'm so glad I got to do an episode about it.
It's better.
Yeah. Well, I think those are all the questions I have. Is there anything else that you want to talk about tonight? Anything exciting coming up?
Well, next year, actually, the shows I'm super excited for.
Yeah.
Mainly Cabaret. It's been a while. It's like we get to do a big name show. And then next year, Shaye and Lachlan were just here, and they were competing at KCCTF, or the Kennedy Center Awards. And we're actually hosting a convention next year for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we're going to show Cabaret to all the theater students from all over America in our region, and we get to like show them Cabaret, and we get to compete and like have the competition here. So it'll be awesome to meet new theater students from all over America and talk to them about like, well, what's your theater program like? I'll meet other set designers and talk about like how they do their process and everything. And I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, that sounds like so fun.
Yeah.
What is Cabaret? Can you explain that to me a little bit more?
Yeah. So Cabaret is a musical, and it's about a cabaret, or it's about this nightclub, and I guess the best way to describe it is that it's about these characters in a nightclub, and they try and go on their own adventure outside of it. And it's hard because it's set in the 1920s, so there's a lot of gangster violence and things like that. But it livens the musical, and all the characters living inside of a cabaret who are like people, kind of characters that you wouldn't really interact with everyday life, like women who like pole dancers or strippers and kind of things that each have their own dark story that they're trying to learn about. And so Cabaret is a musical that brings all of those dark things to light and like talks about them in a very festive way.
Oh wow, how fun. That sounds so much fun.
It's a great musical. I'd recommend it.
Yeah.
When we present it next year, you should definitely see it.
I should, yeah, I'll have to come back. Well, thank you so much for being on.
No problem.
I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Well, Rams, that is all the time we have for you tonight. Hopefully you've gotten a greater appreciation for the arts here at CSU. I know I have. I'm kind of obsessed. If you want to learn more about the University Center for the Arts, you can visit uca.collegestate.edu. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow night for the Thursday night news, and tune in next week at the same time for Local Beats, where they'll be interviewing local band The Beeves. That's all the time I have for you, Rams. But take care of yourselves and have a good night.